Ready? 1, 2. Well, okay. Hey, I'm here with Stephen Trask,
Hey,
and we're in my studio in Los Angeles. Stephen's in from Kentucky, and we're working on some music.
yeah,
And so this is the first interview for the Rooney website.
I'm the first interview for the Rooney website.
Yeah.
I thought this was like a thing.
Mm-mm.
I'm really honored.
I mean, it's. I intend to do
Oh, cool.
interviews, but we're breaking our rule of looking in the thing.
Oh, right.
Our plan was to look in at ourselves
If it was the last interview, I'd sing,
in
"Do
here.
you ever know that you're my hero?"
Oh,
But that first
feel
interview,
free.
I don't know what to do.
Feel
So
free.
first,
So let me ask you, how did you get into music?
how did I get Wishbone?
Wishbone?
Yeah, at my grandmother's house.
Really?
Yeah,
You pulled it?
yeah. I wish for piano lessons.
Who was the
And
other?
my sister.
Who was who was gonna get the piano lesson? Or
No,
you made the wish?
yeah, I got the wish.
Oh, cool.
Shortly thereafter, I was dismissed by my piano teacher, but that's what started it.
Did you tell everybody you were gonna take piano?
Yes,
That was your wish?
that was my wish. So
Wow.
it doesn't really count, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
But it does.
I took piano lessons in high school from a guy who taught me cocktail lounge piano.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
that was actually how I got into it. I used to have my recitals in bars.
So how long did you study piano for?
Um, 4 years in high school, couple months before, about 4 years in high school, and then a few years in college. I was never a
Um,
good student.
really?
I was a terrible student.
You didn't do your scales.
I did not do scales.
Did you improve then? Or was it like a slow process?
It was a very slow process. I improved. I did started doing scales in the middle of college because I couldn't get into the band I wanted to be in. I was like, oh God, I suck. So I
Yeah.
started doing scales.
Um, then you got better.
I did.
Did
Then
you
they
notice
asked.
a huge difference
Yes, they asked me to be in the band
because of the scales?
because of the scales.
It's amazing what scales can do.
Yeah, you do scales, you get better. You work at it, you get better.
It's true.
You stop
Like you
doing scales,
notice
you get
right
worse.
away.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Then I stop and I get worse.
Right. So, do you still do scales?
I
For
just
all the
started
young
again.
piano players
I
out there?
just started again in January, and I got better.
So to our audience,
Yes. Hello.
do your scales.
Do your scales. Yeah.
Do your homework.
Yeah.
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah. Or better.
Makes
Practice
better.
makes better.
Makes
It
better.
might not make you perfect, but you won't suck as bad.
So you started taking piano,
Yeah.
and then you started then you stopped taking lessons at a point?
I took lessons as a little kid, but my piano teacher wouldn't teach me because I didn't practice. So it was literally like watching me sight read something for the first time every lesson. And finally, one day she just said, "You're wasting my." She said, "You young man, you're wasting my time and your mother's money, and I can't teach you any longer."
Wow. Damn.
Yeah.
And then did you finish the lesson or should you leave before it ended?
We just sat there and kind of looked at each other until the lesson was
Oh
over.
my
Until my
God.
mother came and picked me up. I mean, there's really no point in going on, like me kind of
Yeah.
staring. And so then years later, I wanted to take what I thought was going to be pop piano lessons, so I could learn like "I Will Survive" and the hits of the day.
Right.
And this guy came over who taught me like "Misty" and "The Shadow of Your Smile."
So then you were focusing on songs.
And I was focusing on songs.
And
And even then,
then
I didn't practice, but he didn't mind because if I wrote something, he'd be like, "Oh, well, let's talk about what you wrote."
oh cool. So you were writing stuff
Yeah, I just started writing.
and then playing him what you wrote and
Yeah.
talking about it,
And then he would be like, "Oh, well, let's look at what you wrote."
like dissecting
Yeah, he
it.
said, "I haven't introduced you to major ninths, but you're using major ninths here.
Oh wow.
And here's a Neapolitan second,
How old were you when that happened?
15."
So you started writing around that age?
Yeah, but it was all like instrumental,
No lyrics.
no lyrics.
When did you start writing lyrics?
Um, at some point, it was around the time I started playing like acoustic guitar in my senior year of high school, and I started realizing that all the songs I liked, the chords were really simple, but they had lyrics,
Right.
and that what made people like them was the lyrics, not the chords, because all the chords were the same.
Right.
So,
So you
lyrics. That's the thing.
And then, so were the lyrics personal?
Um, no, not at all.
They were like more story, like inventing stories and sticking a rhyme
Yeah, I
pattern.
think maybe I had some. I wrote a tribute to George Harrison. That was very personal.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. What was it called?
I don't remember. I don't remember. That was my senior year of high school.
And
It
it
was
was
written in a George Harrison style
oh, like for it, but about him.
and about him.
About how did you love him?
I
Like,
loved George Harrison.
was he? But you love all the Beatles different way.
Yeah, I love. I have a big heart.
Yeah.
So I didn't start writing personal stuff until I don't know when I started writing personal stuff.
Hmm.
Um,
Like a song that was like emotionally, like an emotional like song.
when I started
Like a
dating my
release.
boyfriend,
That was like when it started
I wrote him a love
happening.
song.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh. Writing him love songs?
I wrote him a love song called "He's So Delicate."
Did you play it for him?
I did. I used to play it in my band, and I played it for a big music executive who really liked it until he realized it was gay.
Really?
Yeah.
And then he stopped liking it?
Uh huh.
Really?
Right there on the spot.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, how'd you just like told you that or
He
something?
was like, "What's the name of that song? That's a great song." And I told him. He's like, "Oh," and he just left the room. I don't want to say who it was,
That is crazy.
but I was at his house.
That's ridiculous. So, okay, so you're writing now. You started to write songs, and then you started your band in high school
No, no, I didn't. I had a band in college. I
through
didn't have a,
college.
I started a band in college. Yeah, just through college. It was fun, but I was terrible. I was a terrible bandmate. Like I didn't know how to be in a band.
Really?
Yeah,
How come?
I didn't know how to play guitar. I didn't know what to do. And I really like. I just did not like. I was not. I was not comfortable with it. I was comfortable sitting at a piano playing, "Shadow of Your Smile."
You just wanted a band like
Your bands were
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
And I had two bands in college. One was like my serious band, and then the other was a kind of like punk prank kind of band that um, was the inspiration for the offensive band that was supposed to play a frat party in the movie PCU.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my band, Strep Pussy, was the inspiration for.
Oh really?
Yeah.
For the band that was in the movie?
Yes.
Oh,
And the
crazy.
controversy around it was based on the controversy of our first gig.
Why? How did that happen? Did you go to school
Yeah.
like with the?
PCU was Wesleyan.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh,
And that was, and yes,
wow.
my first place in cultural history
Wow.
was that my band was the inspiration for the band in PCU that the womanists protested.
Wow. And then okay, so the band, and then right after college, is that when did your band break up?
Yeah, band broke up. Went to New York, started a band, did a few gigs. We were called Bimbo Limbo Spam, named after a lyric from a Captain Beefheart song, "The dust blows forward and the dust blows back."
Mm-hmm.
And then we broke up, or dissipated or something. And then I started a new band, and then that band eventually became, that band started doing gigs as part of the Hedwig and Angry Inch, and we were the Angry Inch.
At the Bimbo Limbo?
No, a band called Cheater.
Oh, Cheater.
And then eventually we were the Angry Inch on, in the off-Broadway run of that show.
What about? You told me all about that the other day.
Yeah. I also
But I
played
think it's
briefly with
interesting.
Joan Osborne,
Oh,
but she
cool.
fired me.
Really?
Yes.
What happened? Did you do something wrong?
I didn't really like covering. I wasn't into the kind of bar band scene of like covering Janis Joplin and Aretha Franklin songs
Yeah.
in the early '90s while other things were going on musically, and then taking 5-minute solos. So I played every solo with my fists, like I was Cecil Taylor.
You were just. That was
making
your way of
making my
rebelling?
statement.
Wow.
and then she fired me.
Did
on
she
my
pull you
birthday.
aside and give you a talking to?
Yes.
Or did you get an email? from
So
somebody.
she pulled me aside and she said, I think that we're going to, this is going to be our last gig
Whoa.
with you.
Is it awkward?
My parents were there
Whoa.
with friends.
At that show?
Yeah, it was my birthday.
Oh, and she told you before the show?
No, during the show.
What? How? Like an
She
intermission?
Just, like on a break. She told me, and then I went over and sat with my parents, and they said, "You sound so good. You're doing we're having such a good time."
And you're like,
me.
that is crazy.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So then you started writing the musical.
Yeah. I mean, I was writing songs, and so then I started my band Cheater. I was like, oh, screw that. Can I say fuck it? Oh, I can say fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't know what your website is rated.
It's rated
PG-13.
anything you want.
You know. All right. So it's the first. It's the first thing. So I didn't know.
Yeah.
So so I said fuck it, and I started my own band. And called up some friends. No, I didn't start my own band. I started delivering pizza. It's not really the same thing at all. And I was writing songs. My friend Chris said, I was living with him, and he said, and I would write songs and I would learn songs. I would sit and I'd write and I'd learn and I'd write and I'd learn. I'd go to the subway and play stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I had like 4 hours of material. I would like just sit there and like play, and I had like 4 hours of stuff. And then like a couple months later, I had 6 hours of material. And he was just like, a couple months ago you had 4 hours of material, and now you have 6 hours of material. If you keep going, you have 10 hours of material. You really should get a band. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with 100 hours of stuff and no place to play it but the living room. So I started the band.
Let's talk about the pizza delivering.
Okay.
How long did that last?
Not very long, a couple of years.
Really?
Yeah.
A couple of years? That's a good amount. I mean, you were writing during that time.
Yeah,
you were doing that, but that was you were paying the bills.
Yeah, I read scripts for New Line Cinema.
You read them?
Yeah.
Like did coverage or something?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
They fired me.
So you were like doing a few different things.
Yeah, I did that. I did coverage for New Line. Although they fired me because I told them that they should pursue. I said that the coming trend would be adapting comic books and making superhero movies.
Whoa, you told them that?
Say it was 1991.
You were ahead of your time.
Yes, I was.
You were.
I told them to start looking into that.
Jeez. Well.
And I wrote some stuff up about it.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You still have what you wrote up?
No, but they totally ignored me. And I told them gay cinema. Gay cinema
really?
and comic book adaptations were what I told them to look into.
But you were working were you working at the company, or would you do work from home?
I was also doing promotions and publicity at the company.
Oh really?
Yeah. But I remember one night, like, their ideas were more like we literally went to see the band that had the hit the Macarena.
Oh yeah.
We went to see them play at some club in New York, the Palladium, something. I don't know. And they said, and so we went and saw it. It was just like a band, like from South America, doing a set that ended up with them doing the Macarena. And then the production executive I was with said, "So, you know music. How do you see making this into a movie?"
That band?
Just the hit.
Macarena?
How can we take this hit?
Make a new movie?
Make a new movie about this dance craze.
Whoa. What'd you say?
I said, I don't know. It's just a song. I think you should pursue this comic book thing.
Oh, wow.
And they were like, you don't know what you're doing.
Wow.